Hey everybody, it's Dirty Thursday brought to you by River City Speedway. It's actually Snurdy Thursday. Now, if you're a fan and been following Dirty Thursday, Snurdy Thursday means we be talking snowmobile racing. We've got the members of the Carver Performance Race Team in here today. I'm looking forward to this. Not only is River City Speedway one of our big sponsors, but also Northwest Tire is too. You know, for tires, work on your vehicle and more, visit Northwest Tire on Gateway Drive. North Dakota's largest tire dealer, family-owned for over 40 years, from big to small. Northwest Tire, they do it all. You can find all the big-name brands too, Toyo, Nokian, Bridgestone, Firestone, and more. Call them up, 701-780-8473 to schedule your next appointment. They're on Gateway Drive in Grand Forks. Northwest Tire, helping you get the perfect tires for whatever you drive. And that way, if you go in there today, you can look and see if Chad is there, because he claims he's doing service calls today, and he's not having another thing done to him, procedure. But anyway, go check it out, Northwest Tire. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to call or text. You can see on the screen there, guys, already people texting. Our number is 701-213-0863, 701-213-0863. And let's do it before we get going. It is time for our daily segment called Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Here we go, Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Today is National Women's Day. Did you know that? Today is National Women's Day. It should have been yesterday, but they weren't ready. I thought that was a pretty good one. And that was for you, Jackie, especially. No, I knew the moms would be in here today, so I had to break that one out. I do want to mention something quick. It's going on this Saturday, and I'm trying my damnedest to be able to get to this. I don't know if it's going to work. Evans Scrap and Steel and Kynes Family Farms present Saturday, Northern Minnesota's 2023 Baja Invitational, right up by Goodrich, Minnesota. You might not be familiar with Goodrich. It's east of Thief River Falls. The classes are going to have 4 of them: a 4-cycle, 4-wheel drive, or front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, 6 and 8-cylinder 4-wheel drive, and outlaw class. 12 and under is free, 13 and over $10. Beer and concessions. Call Kiefer 218-416-2866 or DJ at 218-686-9711 to find out more. If you're wondering what the Baja is, it's basically street cars that they just get ready to go run the piss out of and go race around a farm field somewhere, and with corners and little jumps and things, but it should be a great time. Again, I'm going to try to get there if we can. All right, first off, we're going to go to my right, a guy I have known for a long time, Mike Carver. How are you, man?
Pretty good. Yourself? Good.
You know, we had you on the show last year. It was a Zoom deal. I hadn't seen you in a long time, but boy, I think I've known you since had to have been the late 70s, early 80s, possibly.
Mid 80s. Started working at RV Sports up in Thief River.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And then now you're in Foston.
Yes.
You were in St. Hilaire for the longest time.
Yep. Ran my business there and moved it to Foston.
Okay, so tell us about the history of Mike Carver and Carver Performance. Again, like I said, man, you've been doing this for a long time, but let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Always been into snowmobiles. Growing up on a farm, Dad had snowmobiles, rode them, got my own. Went to tech school, and right away I got into a old Yamaha shop in Red Lake Falls. I don't know if you remember, old Thieberts Sports Center.
Oh, yeah.
Was racing. I actually did my first race. I was a senior in high school. So that got me going, and at the time was a dream job to go and work at a dealership, Yamaha dealership, what I raced. Raced out of there, moved up to RV Sports. Every place I went, raced. Worked on snowmobiles. Went to Black Magic Motorsports for a while. Same racing there. Of course, they were heavily into racing. Then actually got a call from a old-time Artie Cat guy. He unfortunately passed away in last year, so Don Idy.
Oh, sure, Don, yeah.
Yep, from Artie Cat called me up one day, said, would you like to come to work at Artie Cat? So went to engineering, worked there for a few years. Still raced while I was there. At that time then, this was a early 90s when they started putting Fox shocks on the Artie Cat snowmobiles.
Yep.
So because of racing necessity to learn how to work on them, and I liked it, ended up leaving Artie Cat, going on my own, and got tied up with Fox shocks directly, doing race support, and that it took off from there. was familiar with the product, worked with racers. Fox sent me to all the races to work on racer stuff. So just sheer volume and working with different guys on setup and learning, and people got to know me and asked me about doing shocks, and just it's taken off from there.
Now, this whole time, not only are you working on competitor shocks, but you were also racing at the same time?
When I had my own business and was doing the race support for Fox, then I wasn't racing at that time. I didn't have time, and with the business, so that's about the time I stopped racing, but was still very heavily involved with it.
It's kind of like the situation I'm in. Went from racing and thought about getting back into it again, and then all of a sudden started announcing, and you start thinking, wow, I still got it made here. I get to hang out with all these phenomenal people around the racing world. I get to watch racing. I get to talk about it. I get to live it, and I don't have to spend the money to do it. But you still get to have all of the perks with being out at these races and not have to worry about racing. It's kind of nice.
Yep, you do get the perks, meeting all the guys, basically traveling for your business. Of course, following the National Snowcross, so that's all over the U.S. and Canada and that. But just for me personally, I think I'll always have that itch there to get on the sled. And
it's never going to go away
racing,
for you.
So,
can I ask, what was the very first sled you raced?
The very first sled I raced in an event would be a Yamaha SS440.
An SS440?
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Fan cool leaf spring.
Yeah. Boy, I had a GPX 433 as a kid. Boy, I can remember, though, the Exciters and the SRXs. Gosh, they were fun sleds to ride. And the SS, man, good stuff.
Yeah, so actually, I said growing up, my dad had snowmobiles, so the first one they had older ones, but he bought a old Yamaha 440 Exciter.
Oh, yeah.
Red or white with red stripes. It was a 78 model, and those things went.
Yeah.
And then that was, loved that. And then the next model was that SS, which I got old enough for. I purchased it myself and then went racing with it.
Back in the day, it was fun because I used to hang around with Dwayne Wisco. I think you might remember Dewey, but he was a Yamaha guy, and so I always got to get my little fix on his Exciter, his SRX. Stewie Peterson had an SRX too back in the day, so I always got to drive those, but man, they are fun. We are going to get back to Mike, but we've got a couple other guests in here right now. I want to talk to the first time, no, not the first time I've seen you, him, but how you doing, K-Dog?
Oh, pretty good. My body's a little sore from the football season, but other than that.
But, and it's funny because we call you K-Dog. Keegan is his real name, Keegan Houser. But your mom and dad are in here, and your dad was saying, hey, you remember the first time he was in here? He could barely reach over that table. You also sounded like a little girl back at that time. And now, how much do you weigh? How big are you, dude?
This probably don't sound good, but I'm 200 pounds. 205, I think, is when I weighed on Tuesday.
Okay, and how tall are you?
5'9".
5'9", and what position do you play?
Right guard and nose tackle.
Right guard and nose tackle. And you know what? You guys are doing okay this year.
Yeah.
Plays for Grand Forks Central, by the way.
It's been a really up and down season. Like, we've had our really high highs, but we've had our low lows. But the way I look at it is that we're the best 4-4 team in the EDC.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think you guys jumped ahead of Red River, didn't you?
No.
In the points? Oh, I thought you did.
I don't know the point situation, but we do have tiebreaker over them, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, well, you kicked the crap out of them.
Yeah.
How about that? What award did you got an award last week?
I've gotten it 3 times now. It's Hog of the Week. It's basically just like Offensive Lineman of the Week.
Okay.
So
that's all right.
Yeah.
You guys are like the unsung heroes.
Pretty much, yeah. We first to blame when it goes wrong and last to get credit when it goes right.
Hey, there you go. That's a great way of putting it. Now, another thing, you usually don't see football linemen racing snowmobiles.
No, not really, no.
And how did you get your start in racing?
I think it was a trip to my dentist, I think is what I'm told.
Okay. Expand on that a little bit.
I went in to get like a regular checkup when I was like 5 or 6. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my old dentist, he retired now, but he ran the youth section of the Snowdio.
Okay.
For the 120s and stuff.
Oh, sure.
And he knew my grandpa because he's neighbors with him. And I think they just invited us to come. Is it? Oh, yeah, there's a sign up on the wall.
Okay.
So, yeah, just some Saturday morning is the way I remember it. I woke up, watched my SpongeBob, went to the Snowdio, and I raced 120s for the first time.
Yeah?
So that's how I remember it. They probably got a couple more details, but
Did you go to SpongeBob the musical that just played here downtown?
not.
Okay. Now, were you hooked right away? Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you used to do go-karts and things like that too,
Yep.
and you're one of those guys. I mean, I have followed you growing up. You have pretty much tried everything, I think, under the sun, from keyboards to drums to dancing to singing to racing go-karts to racing snowmobiles to playing football. I think you've pretty much done it all, but were you hooked on the snowmobiles right off the bat?
yeah, that's one of the things that's gotten me from the start. I don't know what it is, but it just keeps me coming back for more. So
Big game tonight, Devil's Lake. Is
that was
right?
like, yep, 6 o'clock at Cushman Field.
All right,
If
go
anybody
get him,
wants to
man.
come, yeah.
And we got more to talk to you about, too. All right, now here we go. This is a first-timer in here. Welcome, everybody. Brady Wadena. How are you, man?
Pretty good.
Good, good. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How old are you? What grade are you in?
I am 15. I'm in 10th grade.
Okay.
Sophomore at DGF High School in Dilworth. in
Okay.
Glendon, Minnesota.
Dilworth, Glendon, Felton.
Yep.
Yep.
And then started racing the big sleds, 13 years old. Started racing 120s when I was 4. So that had me hooked when I was 4 years old. My dad was always a racer, so always followed in his footsteps and riding sleds, watching him ride sleds. So
Now, have you always been cross-country? Have you tried anything else? Because, you know, back in the day when I was your age, we started racing ice ovals back then, but you don't see a lot of that anymore. But have you always been a cross-country guy, and have you always just raced snowmobiles?
my dad was always a cross country guy. I think he tried snowcross when he was younger, but when I was 120s, they ran some snowcross races. That used to be my favorite, so I thought I was always going to be going that. But then once we started getting into that cross country stuff, that was my first race when I was 13. That's when I really got hooked, and like, wow, that was really fun. Right on the first lake race in Okoboji, Iowa, and that was my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Like,
And you know, the thing is let's face it, the snowcross guys get all the glory. I mean, they do. You know, they race in the dang stadium or on a racetrack. Everybody can see and everybody can watch, and all the fans. You can wear your foofy Arctic Cat gear, and you know, and then go back inside. It's the cross country fans and racers. Those are the diehards. I mean, I can tell you stories. All we got to do is say Kurt and Muzzy from the I-500, pounding on somebody's door with their helmet because they ran out of gas. You know, finding a ditch crossing to park next to watch, but it's a whole different deal when it comes to the cross country. Now, are you in do you play any other sports? What do you do in the summer?
I'm a football. I play football,
Okay.
baseball. I was in basketball, but now with the snowmobile racing, but yeah,
That's okay.
during the summer, during the summer we're in baseball, and fall we're in football.
Okay.
Keeps me busy.
Okay. Wow. It's awesome to meet you guys. I've heard a lot about you. Now, how did you, Mike, get tied in with these two youngins here?
I'll start with Keegan. I got 2-3 years ago, at Pine Lake. I was racing, and they do several classes at a time. So in my vet class, and they let out junior riders at the same time, and it's all time. We're like, whatever, 20 seconds apart. They leave us, and we leave. And the sled caught me, and then I didn't know who it was. I didn't recognize the number. He caught up to me, and then got by me, and I followed him for a while. I couldn't keep up with him, and I like to think I'm a decent ice racer.
Yeah.
And you know, he disappeared, and I got in and got back to the trailer, and I was telling Stephanie. Stephanie's like our team manager, and I said, "Jeepers, that this 825. I saw him. I don't know who he is, but he sure goes. I don't know if they were parked not too close. I kind of looked him up then, and kind of the rest is history.
Yeah.
You know, and we ran together a couple times. And I should back up. That sled he was racing was a junior, a limited sled.
Oh.
So they're like half throttle and
Yeah.
they're down on power. But he went through the corner so good, and you know they're a pretty similar top end, but he's going faster even on a limited sled.
Yeah, and I'm guessing at that time he didn't have the shock knowledge or any of that kind of stuff that he probably does now.
Not that I was aware of. I think pretty basic. We've helped him out quite a bit, and I know that's made a difference for him. But no, they were just I guess their basic setup they
Yeah.
get from Articat and their mechanic Corey. And
Sure. Now you mentioned Stephanie. I've heard her name a million times. And I'm hoping she's watching because from what I've heard through the grapevine, she is pretty much the glue in this whole deal. Something like that.
glue, coordinator. I can tell you she'll be watching and she won't be impressed that we all have different shirts on.
Oh, sure,
know,
sure,
so
yeah,
because
yeah.
Mike
At
got
least you
left
got the hats on.
Mike got left in charge of that, and you see where we're at. She works on sponsorships. Coordinating if there's stuff we need done down the road at the events. Cook. She lines up all the food for the weekend and
Wow.
cooks for everybody in the trailer. So yeah,
These are all the things people don't think about either when you go on the road.
no, feeding a crew it's quite the task.
Sure
really,
it is.
For,
Especially when you're 5'9" and over 200 pounds, you play football.
yeah, we may have to work on a little diet there or something. And
Yeah, that's in the works.
You have to get a sponsorship trade out for food.
yeah.
Now, you've been racing a long time. I thought you had retired after last year, or was it the year before maybe?
Well, I announced retirement at the end of last season.
Okay.
Team manager and coordinator thinks I may need to run one or two just to kind of keep my name out there. But
Sure.
nothing is set in stone there. We'll see.
Yeah.
If I show up to race, I'll race, but we have no schedule set
Yeah.
for myself.
And you know, the thing is, and you kind of touched on this earlier, Mike, it's still, everything is here for wanting to race. How's the body feel? Like me now, and growing up, I was always told, wait till you turn 50. 47 broken bones later and how many dozens surgeries I've had. I'll be 59 and I feel like I'm 89. How's it holding up?
Pretty good. My biggest issue is knees.
Yeah, me too. I need two new ones.
On the long, rough cross-country races, they're done before the end of the race.
Yeah,
so.
and let's face it, the suspensions aren't like they are now. Not like they were when we were going.
No, not then. And still, people say that, but the riders will still ride as hard as their body will let them.
Exactly.
The machines are going faster, yes, but they're still riding as hard as your body can take it.
And you also thing that people don't realize is you're using your body as a shock absorber also. Whether it be on a snowmobile or a motorcycle, if you're off-roading or cross country, you're all at one with the machine, and your body is basically a ginormous shock absorber also.
It's all part of it. For
Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Wow. Yep. So what kind of snowmobiles are you guys running? I just had to ask that because I love asking this question.
Yeah, we'll be running Articats this winter.
Okay. Your favorite sled?
Ever?
Articat?
Yeah.
Yeah, ever?
Articat.
Yeah. Do you ever call them ditch pickle?
I think you're the only one that uses that term, but
Am
yeah.
I the only one that uses that term? Well, they're not all. Well, before they used to all be black. Everything used to be one color. The brands, Polaris, Yamaha, Skidoo, Articat, they're all one color. But how do you like riding the Articat? How do you like riding the ditch pickle? I'm going to say that from now on.
The ditch pickle is awesome. It's it can handle the rough stuff very well. That's my favorite part about it.
So, what did your dad race? What brands did he race?
All of them in the books. I mean, he started on Polaris, then he went to Skidoo, then he was on the big 4-stroke Yamahas, and then I think 2017 he switched to Articat, and he's made the switch, and he's stuck with Articat the rest of the.
And he's still going at it too.
Yep, he is.
Oh, we should have brought him with. Wow. I tell you what, we're going to take just a little bit of a break here. We have got a lot more to talk about. The guys from the Carver Performance Racing Team are here, the cross-country snowmobile racing team on a snurdy Thursday brought to you by River City Speedway. Mike Carver, along with Keegan Houser and Brady Wadena, all here in the studio today. Life doesn't ever seem to slow down. Everything needs to be done yesterday. Same things with your oil change. Don't you love going to the dealership and waiting in line for 2 hours to get your oil changed? You won't happen to you at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You're usually in and out of there in about 15, 20 minutes. While you're sitting there, you don't even have to get out of your car. They're also going to top off your fluids. They'll check your tires, your batteries, your lights, your wipers, your cabin air filter, all that kind of stuff. If you're a fleet owner, you'll get a discount. If you're in the military, they'll give you a discount. And if you mention Grand Forks Best Source, you'll get $10 off of your oil change. They get text and email, invoices, and coupons. Also, pickup and delivery is available if you're in Grand Forks, too. They're open Monday through Saturday. Don't need an appointment. You just pull right up, all right? Valvoline Instant Oil Change, a complete oil change, and more. Open Monday through Saturday. Check them out, 3325 South 38th Street. You can call them, too. 701-780-8462. Make sure you tell them Grand Forks Best Source sent you. All right, now when we get to cross-country racing, I'm going to go to you for this one, Mike, because you're kind of the veteran of the group here. You've pretty much done it all. I can remember when we remember back in the days in Thief River, they had the ice oval, and then all of a sudden they bring in what they called snowcross, and at that time it was just one more little turn there and one man-made jump. It's changed. I know you've raced in pretty much every type of snowmobile racing, but if you were to compare them, the ovals, the snowcross, and the cross country, what is different? What makes cross country racing so different compared to the other types?
Endurance would be the first thing. Cross country is also, I consider, the purest of the
Oh, for
snowmobile
sure.
racing, because the name says it, cross country. You know, they went from point A to point B, or a loop back, but you're going across the country and, you know, testing and proving sleds and who's the best rider and who has the best sled.
And a lot of people don't realize that racing basically came from R&D, research and development. I'm going to give you a snowmobile. I want you to go pound the living crap out of this thing for 500 miles, and then we'll take a look at it and see what we can do better, what, you know, can be fixed. But gosh, remember back in the old 500 days, you know, ditch pounding for 500 miles over 3 days. That would separate the men from the boys back in the day.
The boys and good machines from not so good machines. And you look back in the 70s, well, of course, suspension and sleds weren't like now, but they did 3 to 5 days. They do the 500. Mm-hmm. Now we're doing it in 2 days.
Yeah. Isn't that something? You know, and people, even people that don't know any better, they go, wow, you went 120 miles today? That's nothing.
Yep.
I mean, and you can do that in 2 hours. I mean,
3 hours.
3
for
hours.
the pros,
Yeah. They're flying.
Yeah, it's crazy the speeds that they'll average.
Yeah, jeepers. Yep. How fast do you get going if you're running in a ditch? How fast have you been, do you think?
In a ditch, I mean,
During a race?
I don't really check in the ditch, but maybe upper 90s, mid 90s, probably.
How about you?
Same with Keegan. I don't really fully check that, but Mom might not want to hear the right answer. But
Okay, 65.
I'd say about lower mid 90s.
Yeah. And you know, it's so funny because I remember back in the day when they came out with the Wildcat, and the first time I had been over 100 on a sled, and you don't realize it until you try to stop or slow down. That's when you realize how fast you're going. But that's when I decided 80 was fine for me. It's how quick you can get to 80 makes it a little more fun. But yeah, 80 to 100, to me, it's not that much of a difference until you try to stop or slow down. But now, the biggest, longest race you guys run, how many miles is it?
500 miles.
And they stretch that out over how many days?
2.
2 days. And which race is that?
It's the Goodrich Creekla 500.
Okay, 'cause back in the day, the Goodrich 5 was the Goodrich 100.
Yep.
Back in the day.
A lot of the same people still helping with that race.
Oh, I bet. And that was the last one I ever ran, was the Goodrich. And that was after the plane crash. I was still walking with a cane, and that was my goal, was to try to get on one more time, and I ran out of gas with 2 miles to go. I remember that. And boy, did I beat that Arctic Cat up. I was running, Bill Ness gave me a Cougar to run. To go check it out, reverse, electric start, all that stuff, and boy, did I beat that thing up. But now, do you have to prepare to get in? Do you stay in shape? Do you go to the gym? Do you do any of that kind of stuff? Because you guys are still young. You're athletes. But do you do anything different to get in shape for snowmobile racing? I mean, it's, you know, different muscle memory than football or baseball. But are there things you do, or since you guys are so young and in shape anyway, you just kind of go with the flow?
With me, my dad always had the hand.
Oh, yeah, for the forearms.
Yep,
Yep.
the forearms, and I'd pump those out. And then there's the certain things where you can roll it up, the dumbbell on the back. Mm-hmm. I do them forearm workouts, keep my arms ready, and then try to keep in shape condition wise, because it's endurance, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So going out runs, ellipticals, treadmills, trying to get on them.
Yeah. What position do you play in football?
I'm a QB.
Oh, you're one of the pretty boys. Everybody wants to be a QB, right? Are you guys any good?
Right now we're 8-0 in our conference.
You guys
and
are
we've
always
lost.
good over there. What's the deal with Glendon, Felton, Dilworth? You guys are always kicking the crap out of like the Thief Rivers, the East Grand Forkses. And how do you do it?
I mean, coaching, our coaches are very great. They we can execute their game plans pretty well, and then if we can't execute, we can adjust to what else they're throwing at us.
And I've just been telling people it's something in the water, but apparently not.
I mean, there's definitely some studs there. I mean, there's so many great players in DGF, and we've had a history of great players in the last few years. But yeah, we got a decent amount to choose from. But yeah, it's a very good football team.
All right, Mike, couple of questions for you. Question one, how and why did you form your own race team now, Carver Performance Racing Team? And question number two is, you're putting a lot of stock in a couple of young guys here, young men, great guys from what I can tell, but a couple of big jumps there. How did this all come about?
I'd say for myself, it's just kind of an evolution going from racing, which I'm supposed to be backing out of it now.
But you want to keep it going.
Keep going. I've always, cross country's been my favorite. I've sponsored the circuit, didn't matter who ran it. Ever since I've had my own business, I've sponsored the cross country circuit because that's what I've always loved. Now, with doing less racing, I want to have a team and help some guys out racing. Like I said, we hooked up with Keegan, a couple of years ago and helped him out. He made some big advancements last year, and now with Brady, I've known his dad for a long time, and we saw him last year too, doing very well. And kind of want to have the two riders. Keegan's going to run semi-pro this year, and Brady's going to run sports. So they're different levels, and just help move them up.
So then, what's the top level then? What would that be considered? Pro?
Pros would be the next level.
Okay. So do you guys race for trophies now? When you're pro, I'd imagine there's some money involved, or do you get paid to win races?
I didn't last year because the sport is an unpaid. It's like an amateur class. I think.
Sure.
But semi-pro, I'll get paid.
Okay.
And then you race for a plaque in every class.
Okay. Now, when it comes to work on the sleds, I know you got a great support system. Both of you guys, I'm sure, do. Are you a hands-on guy? Do you do a lot of the work yourself, or do you let dad and uncle and everybody else do all the work? Remember, he's right there.
Yeah, I'd have to say I let my dad and uncle and Mike do most of the work, but I try to give them enough feedback so it's easier.
Yeah, and the feedback is a huge thing right off the bat. I mean, if you could come in and say, well, there's a short between the seat and the handlebars, we know it's you. But if you come in and say, it's doing this and doing that, but that has a lot to do with it being able to get that to them to know what to do, and then eventually you pick up on that. But how important is it to have these guys with you?
It's probably the most important thing, honestly, because it helps so. Like Corey was really good with just us and me and him. He's really good with clutching, and then you add Mike to that with suspension. It makes just a perfect combination.
And how about you? Are you a hands-on kid? Do you do a lot of the work yourself, or do you have help? And who is it?
I get a lot of help from my dad.
Sure.
He's hands-on every single, some little bitty adjustment, and he's onto it. I give him all the feedback, and it's tough. Our shop isn't that right at our house. It's about an hour away from our house. So
wow. Yeah.
He's kind of independent working on the sleds.
Sure.
But he gets into it. I try to help him out a little bit, but I'm more of the give him the feedback.
Yeah. Now, are you guys when the old man says, "Hey, we got to go work on the sled," are you going to say, "No, I want to stay home and watch SpongeBob," or are you going to go help?
I'll probably go help now, but it used to be SpongeBob.
That's progression.
There you go. That's progression. Hey, at least he's honest. I mean, wow. Okay. Have you been? We were talking about speed and everything. Have you been in a bad wreck or 2 or 3 yet?
Have I? I don't think I have. Not really. I've had my fair share of crashes, but I haven't been in a bad. Oh, yeah, it wasn't a bad one. I wasn't badly hurt, but the guy I hit was badly hurt.
Oh.
He broke his collarbone.
Oh, okay.
So last year in Nisswa, I was out testing with just by myself. It was the first ditch race of the year, so I'd never run on float shocks, Fox
Okay.
float shocks. And I was trying them out. And the Team Articat racers, which is David Brown, Zach Herfindahl, and Derek Coletti, were out riding. And I figured I'd go try and keep up with them, see how the sled was handling, if I could push the limits or not. And they went down this little trail. It was pretty tight. And I was following them down it. I could still see their snow dust, but I couldn't see them. And I came around I was going to come into a really sharp 90-degree turn. Or it might not have been 90. It was still pretty sharp. You couldn't see the other side. And I was going into it, and then Derek Coletti came out of it at the last second, and we went head-to-head. I was okay, thankfully. Sadly, he was not. I felt really bad. I still feel really bad about it. But I think he's doing good now. He was riding by the end of the season.
Oh, good. Good.
So, yeah, that was my one bad wreck I've ever
Yeah.
had.
How about you, kid?
Actually, last year during the I-500, I ended up crashing and broke my collarbone.
Oh, yeah.
and got a couple stitches in my elbow. And yeah,
Hey,
that,
scars add character.
I guess.
You know, I've had 47 broken bones. I have yet to break a collarbone. Oh, what's my problem? I can't break a collarbone. How about you? You've been in a few.
Several, yeah. I did. I separated a shoulder down in an old ISOC cross country race in St. Albertville.
Wow, ISOC. I haven't heard
Yep.
that in a long time.
That was
yeah.
when they first originally did it. Crashed right on the ice, broke my collarbone, and then last season down at Nadawash, I crashed pretty hard down there. I was okay, but I think if you asked Steph, I probably wasn't quite right upstairs when I got in.
Yeah, yeah.
So
A little concussion, maybe?
maybe,
Yeah.
not officially, but
Rub a little snow on it and you're good to go?
yeah. Fortunately, the sled wasn't ready to go. It
Yeah.
was a pretty high speed. It was a high speed. That's probably what made me think about it as much as anything.
Right, right.
And actually, Keegan had just gone by me in that race as well too, and I think he was down the lake a ways and he was wondering where I disappeared to, and I was just snowballs.
You know, when it comes to, you talk about high speed and you talk about wrecks and all of this stuff, everything is through the roof. I mean, you could say, well, this is a class that is economical. You know, this is a starter class. It's a cheaper class. There's no such thing anymore, in my opinion. But to say to get a brand new, if you wanted to get a brand new sled, I don't know what exact type of Articat you're racing, before you guys even start tweaking on them, what's something like this going to run?
One,
Just
probably,
one?
$14,000 to $15,000
Yeah, yeah,
each sled.
yeah. And then you throw in another how many grand to get them race ready, or are they pretty much close?
No, you have to add the studs, a lot of comforts, maybe different handlebars, probably some gripping traction like on the running boards and
Sure.
sides. We run different skis, probably different windshields than they come with.
Okay.
We put quite a bit of stuff on them.
I bet.
Once they
And I suppose you take that stuff off. You don't just trade it in to get new stuff. You're stuck with the stock equipment that was on there.
stuck with it, or you put the stock stuff back on when you're done racing.
Okay. Now you mentioned skis. Are you guys got something coming up with skis or something like that?
Yeah, I think we're going on a visit
Yeah.
to CNA.
Yeah, that got postponed for. We were supposed to go tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Okay.
It's one of our sponsors, CNA Skis. They're a plastic ski company, and we were gonna go down there and tour the facility, and we're gonna make our own skis. They have
wow.
different colors,
Yeah.
of plastic beads, and pour it in whatever combination you wanted to. But we'll probably be doing that a little later in the
And
season
where is
yet.
that?
Hutchinson, Minnesota.
Okay, Hutch, down in Hutch. How about that? Do you have a favorite track? I mean, the cross country tracks, are they even the same from year to year to year? I would imagine they tweak them a little bit, but is there one that when you look at the schedule, when the schedule comes out, is there a track where you go, right there, I can't wait to go?
For me, I kind of like most of them. Walker, I didn't like last year, but that was just snow conditions. But Park Rapids is kind of worn on me. The tree terrain up there, and then you go into the ditches and they're high speed. And there's some good jumps. 500 is always fun. It's just long. I like Pine Lake. Pine Lake's it's
Yeah.
not in the series anymore, but it's always it's like a classic race.
Yeah,
Nadawash.
it's not far away. It's
Nope. But I do enjoy my ski hill races. That one's the longest trek, but I love racing ski
Those
hills.
are like a ski hill,
You're
right?
racing on a legit ski hill off season. Like they close it a week or two before the race, and they'll set up a course and you race up and down a ski hill.
Wow. Do you have a favorite track?
Definitely one would be Pine Lake, which
Okay.
is not on the schedule anymore, but that was one of my favorites. I got my first ever win there actually last year. And then another one would be Nadawash. My dad and both my parents grew up around Nadawash,
Yep.
so that's kind of like a hometown race, I guess we could say. And then another one would be Park Rapids. I'm always riding on the trails whenever I'm not racing, riding on the trails with my dad. So I love that trail race, and then always some good approaches in there.
You know, I deer hunt around the Pine Lake area. In fact, I shot 2 really nice bucks right by Pine Lake a couple years ago. But back in the day, they didn't have trail riding when I was riding. It was we either ditch banged or we rode on the river. And now they got these nice groomed trails and all that stuff. I don't know if I've ever even been on a trail.
Is that right? Up around Thief River, they didn't have the trail system. They did, like, where I grew up around the Fosston area, you get down to where Brady's family's from in that Nadawash area. They've had an awesome groomed trail system there for years. And I used to go down there and ride in high school and with buddies and
Yep.
even afterwards.
Okay.
Beautiful system, and I really credit that riding down there to a lot of like racing, like at Park Rapids, where Keegan was talking about, like it's racing in trails. You just can't make a mistake.
No.
You know, you're gonna be out in the woods and
Yeah.
find a tree.
The trees don't. That's a quick stop, and
Yep.
those quick stops usually hurt. Now, I after knowing you for all these years, I didn't realize you were actually from the Fosston area.
Actually, McIntosh. Yep,
Okay.
I live in Fosston now, but that's
Okay,
7 miles. down
and
the
you
road.
said McIntosh. That's how you say it. I used to live in Fosston. That's why I'd
Right.
say
I said-
Macintosh. It's not Macintosh. It's Macintosh. But back in the day, I was on the Langby JC broomball team, and I remember some of the snowmobile guys back then. Killian's
Oh,
was a
yeah.
name that
Yep.
came up. Gosh, it was so long ago. I can't remember all of those. But you are back in Fosston now.
Yes. Yep.
And how are things going there?
Going good. So the facility I'm in now is bigger than I had in St. Hilaire.
Yep.
Newer building. So that's very nice. I'm able to run my business and have a shop for the race sleds there.
Sure.
Big parking lot for a race trailer.
Okay. Now, you guys, a couple of scrappy, good-looking dudes. I don't know if you guys got a girlfriend yet?
He hesitates.
He's wondering if she's watching.
It's a work in progress.
Okay. How about you?
I do not. No.
Okay. Now, this is why I'm asking, because I'm wondering if you guys, if you're at a dance or something and you go, hey, I'm K-Dog. I'm a snowmobile racer. You guys ever use that one?
No, I actually,
Yet?
when I'm out like on the town with friends or something, and I'm with people that don't know I'm snowmobile race, it's probably not the best, but I don't really bring it up because I don't like to brag about myself. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Okay.
But
all right. How about you?
Yeah, I don't really use that line out too often.
Oh, but how often do you wear the Carver Performance Racing gear when you're out and about?
Actually, it was kind of wear it to school sometimes, and people ask about it. People around my school know I'm a snowmobile racer, but they don't really know the details about it, and
Sure.
just kind of let them know.
And then you
Team.
fill them in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Now, a lot of people, and especially after a big race, it's a little different than a football game or something. But you go back to school, they find out about it, and it's like, hey, you won. I didn't know you did all that. But I would imagine there's not a lot of kids you guys go to school with that do what you guys do.
Yeah, not very many. There's maybe one at my school, but other than that, there's not very many that
Yeah.
understand that.
Sure. And around here, a lot of it's hockey in the winter.
Yeah.
But how many guys do you go to school with race snowmobiles?
not too many, but there's some that understand snowmobiles, so they somewhat get it, but not too many, no.
Okay. Sponsors, who helps you out? I know you guys got a bunch of them.
I mean, let me pull up the list because it's pretty long to memorize.
Take your time.
First of all, it's Carver Performance and Thomas Snow Sports. Then those two have helped out a lot. Fly Racing, Stubboy, Team Articat, obviously. Lynette photos, Lynette Ross
Yep,
photos.
Ross, yep.
Yep. All-terrain bear hunts, 513 designs, Venom products, Lisa Hanley, the Remax lady, C-Tech 2 oil, rocks, CNA Pro skis, RZS Enterprises, Ewing Oil, Solid Ink, True Home Properties, Shield Construction, Casty Seed, Sean Horn, Eggmac Farms, Merry Maids, Abco Tools, All Pro Electric, Nick Omdahl, and Gary Baker Enterprises.
Wow. That's
It's a big
few.
list, but they're so helpful.
And I'm going to get to you here in just a second. Paul, how do I forgot all about this thing now. Can I scroll down?
Yeah. That's why I had the mouse pad over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we did some changing, and of course, I was gone doing beats. So, oh, okay. I just want to see.
You can just use this.
That's what I've been doing, but it's not.
Maybe not.
Okay. Anyway, all right. How about your sponsors? Pretty much the same, I would imagine, or a few more.
Yeah, I got some community sponsors. Carver Performance Racing, Fly Racing, Thomas Snow Sports, Stud Boy, Articat, CNA Pro Skis, Lynette, Lynette Ross, All-Terrain Bear Hunts, Venom Products, 513 Designs, Rock, Speed FX, Lisa Handley, Remax Lady, Brodell Racing, Wob and Steel, DRI Electric Services, Carrots Auto Body, and Bones 113.
Wow. Ray, is that how you say your dad's name?
Ree.
Okay. LOL, wish I could be there. We have to pay the bills too. Okay. I'm going to go through because I kind of forgot about this. Nick, John, good morning. Jackie, good morning. I remember watching Mike running at Strathcona in the early 90s. Think he was racing a Cougar then. Boy, remember the Strathcona days?
Yep. Going to reply to Mark. That was probably actually 88 or 89 when I ran Cougars.
Yeah.
And yep, race ovals at time. They had a cross country race in the morning, and you could change your sled over different sleds, and they race on the old.
Sure.
At that time, it was a snow oval, like in the afternoons and that. And I one year had the Cougar. I think it was my 89. And
Yeah,
did
that's
very well up there.
That's funny because we were talking earlier. The last one I ever ran was Goodrich, and I think it was 89, but that was a Cougar. I ran a Cougar back then too. Now, we talked about who helps you guys and your sponsors. When does the season kick off? When's your first race?
December 15th and 16th, I think, is Pine Lake.
Yep.
I think that's the first ice race of the year, and then the series we run kicks off first weekend in January, I think.
Right.
Okay. Got a question from actually an ice racer. Timmy, how long does it take to stud a track, and how many studs per track? We're putting you on the hook. Can you answer that?
Really, if my dad takes however much time he takes, studs in the track is really preferability, I guess, because
Yeah, everybody's different.
more studs is. I'm more of a less studs kind of guy, and then it slides out a little more. You can hit the corners
Sure.
better. So I can't answer the specific studs, but yeah, I don't know how long it would take. It would a couple hours.
You probably know more about that. What would the average be, you think, to stud a track?
Time-wise, well, going into the season, it's always ice races first, so it's the most studs. Boy, the biggest thing is drilling the holes, and push-through studs are nice, but to do a track, if it's still in the sled, I mean, you're going to spend easy 4, 5,
Oh, yeah.
6 hours of sled.
Is it easier to
drill
take the
holes.
track off?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It can be.
That's a lot of work. And yeah. And then, we go back in the day, and I can talk about stories of guys that testing things and seeing how fast they could go, and the things going wrong and having the leathers tore right off them because the studs ride down their back. And, Lemar Ratnan, a couple hundred stitches later, all the way up and down your ass and your leg. But you got to have them. It's traction.
Yep.
I mean, because people don't realize you're racing on ice. I mean, like the Pine Lake race, you could take your skates out and skate.
Yes, when the track is new and they plow it, it's pretty much like you said, a skating rink. And when you see snow dust on these lake races, it's not snow, it's shavings that these sleds cut through the ice and make the shavings a big slush out there.
Yeah.
And if there's not enough ice they have to move the track, otherwise we saw through down to the water.
Sure. That's crazy. Now, I would imagine it won't be long, I'm guessing, before you're finally going to have to just say, okay, I'm just going to work with the boys here and let them keep going. I don't even want to think about the day that Mike Carver would quit racing snowmobiles. To me, it would be so hard to fathom, but it's people like you and Carver Performance Racing that racing, it was a lot different 30 years ago. But it's still going, and it's people like you that make sure that keeps going. And I can tell how passionate you are about this, but this means something to you. Even when you step away, you're not going to step away.
Nope, I'll always be around it. Hopefully helping out racers for a while or attending races. And yep, I know as long as I can do it, I'll be out there.
Did I miss anything, you guys?
I don't think so.
Anything that I miss? Any of your team sponsors, anything that helps you out? Let's give them a shout out.
Well, they listed all the sponsors, and each guy has their own little individual sponsor that helps them out. But our main, like our Carver Performance and Fly Racing, Fly supplies us with Keegan's got one of their sweatshirts on today. All of our suits, race suits, crew suits, everything like that. Fly is great. Stud Boy sends us, their name says it, they supply us studs, carbides, traction products like that. Thomas Snow Sports, he came on last year and he helps us with snowmobiles, and it's just a tremendous help that we can have an extra sled or two around because of him. He lets us use sleds that he has purchased for his dealership.
Oh, wow.
So that's
huge.
That's very good. Yep, that's huge. For myself, a new sponsor, but he's been with Craig, is 513 Designs.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Graphics on the trailer, graphics on our sleds, like full wraps. Like this year he'll be doing our jackets and stuff with our sponsors on there. So Corey's been very good there too. We've got, Articat, of course, and then heard a guy say C-Tech 2. That's the oil we run.
Yep.
We get some help from the company that makes that. There's all-terrain bear hunts. It's a friend of mine who's an outfitter up in Canada, helps us out. L. Ross Photos is actually my sister, but she takes all of our team photos. So if you see, any promotional stuff or anything on her website with photos, she takes that. She has a website for that. Lisa Hanley Real Estate, Remax. That's actually my sister as well. It's
Okay.
family, it's still family. And
Sure.
She helps us out. She has a Remax business down in the Twin Cities. and
Okay.
Helps us out pretty good. We mentioned CNA skis earlier. We change skis from what come on them. And they work better than the stock skis, especially in snow, for turning,
Right,
every little
right.
advantage you can get. Another one is Rock Speed Effects. So this company makes hand guards, hand grips.
Okay.
And we're talking about grips on the sled for traction, that type of stuff. It's just little comfort things that can make a huge difference too.
Oh, especially when you're running a 500-mile race. I mean,
Right.
you don't think about that. It's not a race that gets done in 8 minutes.
No.
You mentioned bear hunting. and Mike, you got yourself a nice bear this year, I heard.
Yeah, nice bear. I actually went up with Corey in the springtime. Things didn't work out there. I was being a little, picky. I wanted a
Picky,
nice bear.
sure.
So he said, come up in the fall, we'll find you something, and went up there and seen several and decided to take, this one's a pretty nice bear. There were still some bigger ones around, but didn't present themselves, so we might have to try again.
Yeah, I used to bear hunt. I shot one in my life, and I will admit, I maybe pooped my pants a little bit. How was that for you?
It was pretty fun.
Not poop your pants fun?
It's overbait, so we have stations, but it was a ground blind. And on the ground blind, so they're like at eye level.
Yeah.
We had the one I shot was probably 20 yards, but we had them come within 5 yards of our blind.
Wow. Close enough to smell them.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was pretty exciting. Yep.
Jeez, I wasn't that crazy. I at least sat up in a tree when I did it. Wow. So you guys are, I can't wait to follow what you guys do. K-Dog, I see you all the time. But I tell you what, Brady, it's a pleasure meeting you. I know your name. I've recognized your name. Even though I'm not around snowmobile racing anymore, I still follow as much as any racing. I mean, I'm going to follow it forever. It's good to put a name with the face now, or a face with the name, if you will. I got to give your mom credit for bringing you down here today. I know it's not easy to drive this far just to come in here and talk with John for an hour, but we sure appreciate it because you guys are the future of racing, no doubt about it. And snowmobile racing, it means a lot to me. You know, everybody thinks this is Dirty Thursday, and maybe there's a few people that are off by the fact that we're doing Snurdy Thursday, but this was way before dirt than anything for me was snowmobile racing. So we're going to keep this going on. Good luck for you tonight, man.
Thank you.
Kick the crap out of Devil's Lake.
I'll do my best.
And make it quick, too. Maybe your dad can still make it to the party tonight if you guys do it quickly. You say hi to your dad. I plan on trying to get down. I would love to go down and watch Pine Lake. That'd probably be the easiest one for me to make. But you guys, you keep it up. You're professional, good guys. You can tell there's a lot more to racing. And there's a lot, and Mike will tell you this, and you guys know that there's a lot more to it than just jumping on the sled and racing. There's all of this that comes with it too, and all the things you got to do on the side. But you guys are awfully professional already, and keep it up. You guys are going to have a great year. I can't wait.
Thank you.
All right, there you go, guys.
Thank you, John.
Thank you all. Mike, thanks for coming in. He made the trip from Boston. We got guys coming in from all over. Carver Performance Racing Team, be watching for him this winter. You're going to see the number 36 of Mike Carver, the 825 of Keegan Houser, and the number 8 of Brady Wadena. They'll all be at a favorite cross-country track. Make sure you check it out, all right? I want to give a shout-out to Rumors Sports Bar and Casino for bringing you Dirty Thursday today. Rumors, man, they are rocking. You know, UND hosts the Gophers this weekend. Oh, tell me that's not going to be a party. Head on over to Rumors Sports Bar and Casino. Jump on one of their 3 buses that they've got going to the game. I haven't talked to them, but I'm sure they're going to run 3 buses, all right? Go get yourself some good food beforehand. Slam one of them world-famous beer towers, and then you can head on over and watch the UND Fighting Hawks beat up on the Minnesota Gophers, all right? The Wild are playing there tonight, too, by the way, so you can go check that out. Get your sandwich inside for just $7 tonight. Rumors Sports Bar and Casino, all right? Hey, by the way, next week, Dirty Thursday, Wissota National Late Model Champion Tyler Peterson is going to be on the show. Not to mention he was number 2 in the national points of the A-Mod. Be watching for that, all right? Hey, Forks Sports Highway show is back tonight at 6:30. We got the Brew Brothers on tonight. Okay, Forks Sports Highway, there you go. Monty and Bill and all that crew, they've got a lot to talk about. They didn't do the show last week. It's going to be a good one tonight. Make sure you catch it at 6:30. Great show. Don't miss it. Remember to like, share, tag, and follow us on your favorite app, all right? Hit that notification bell on your smartphone. It dings every time we do a Dirty Thursday. And if you'd like some GFBS merchandise, go to gfbsmerch.com. In the Grand Cities, they're awesome. Grand Forks' best source is giving them an identity again.